Thank you for thinking about making my Airbnb your vacation spot. Before you hit that Book Now button, there are a few key things you should know, just so we're all on the same page. While I wave the flag of inclusivity and fairness high and proud, I must admit there are a few ground rules that are not discriminatory. I'm just highlighting my ideal guests. If your Airbnb journey has just begun, or perhaps hasn't been as star-studded as you'd hoped, with fewer than 10 stays and a guest rating of 5 stars, I'd gently suggest looking into other accommodations. It's not that I don't appreciate the enthusiasm of newcomers. After all, I'm somewhat of a rookie host myself. However, my approach leans towards the cautious side, especially with guests who are still finding their feet in the art of being the ideal Airbnb guest. It's all about risk management for me. There's a whole world of hosts out there, possibly with open doors and hearts bigger than mine, ready to usher you into the Airbnb fold. Don't take it the wrong way. It's not you, it's me. Really. I'm just on a quest to keep my hosting experience as smooth as a freshly ironed sheet. If you happen to wear the hat of an Airbnb host, I'd warmly suggest looking elsewhere for your next stay. Word on the street, and by street, I mean the vast expanse of the internet, is that hosts turn into super picky guests, always eyeing places up and down, ready to throw shade if things aren't exactly how they do it back at their own pad. And if things don't meet their sky-high standards, boom, hello bad review. Now just between us, I don't even stay at Airbnbs when I'm hitting the road. Hotels are more my jam. Why, you ask? Well, let's just say my trust in other hosts keeping their spots as shipshape as mine is a bit thin. It's all about keeping everyone happy and drama-free, you know? Thanks for getting it. Now, if you're traveling with kids, I'm gonna have to ask you to skip over my listing. Don't get me wrong, I think kids are great, as long as there's a good 90 feet of buffer zone between us. Kids have this incredible talent for turning a neat space into a disaster area in no time flat. They're all about leaving their mark, whether it's finger paintings on windows or doing their best impression of a kangaroo on the furniture. Since everyone's got their own way of wrangling their little ones, and I've got no clue about yours, I'd rather play it safe and keep my place a no-kid zone. Just trying to keep everything in one piece over here, you know? If you've cruised past the 60-year milestone, my ultra-modern, gadget-filled home might not be your cup of tea. Decked out with the latest in automation, it's essentially the house of the future. Potentially a bit overwhelming for those who fondly recall when TVs had just 3 channels. You'll need some proficiency with smartphones, as everything from my guest guide to the house's control panel operates digitally. And don't expect me to provide tech support over the phone. Additionally, there's the matter of online reviews. It seems that seniors can be tough critics who rarely hand out 5-star ratings. While I aim for perfection in guest satisfaction, the word on the street is that the over 60 crowd isn't exactly enamored with the star rating system. Moreover, I do not accept guests under the age of 28. Sure, the world might call you an adult at 18, but that doesn't automatically mean you and my property would get along. My sweet spot for guests is between the ages of 28 and 55. So, if your birth year puts you outside that bracket, it's likely your booking request and I won't be making any commitments. If your English isn't fluent, booking my Airbnb might not be the best idea. I've found that translation errors can lead to misunderstandings, especially when it comes to the details of my rental agreement and house rules. It's crucial that you understand everything clearly to avoid any lost in translation moments regarding compliance with my rules. Plus, this is America, where English is the primary language, no hablo español or any other exotic languages. Now let's talk about my property, amenities, and few but important house rules. I've equipped my Airbnb with a state-of-the-art kitchen, which might sound like a foodie's dream unless you're keen on cooking with a lot of spices and fish. If that's the case, you might want to look elsewhere because here we stick to simpler culinary adventures. Think salads, buttered spaghetti, a variety of sandwiches, and scrambled eggs, all listed in the guidebook I provide. So enjoy your cooking, but keep it on the simple side. As for dining ware, I suggest bringing disposable plates, cups, and utensils. The dishes in my home are more for show than practical use, serving to enhance the decor rather than to endure the wear and tear of daily meals. This not only keeps the place looking nice, but also saves energy by reducing dishwasher use. However, if you decide to use the provided dishes, please handle them with care. Any breakage or loss will incur a hefty fee of $150 since I'll need to replace the entire set. Also, make sure all dishes are washed and returned to their proper places upon checkout. Failure to do so will result in a $100 charge for the extra cleaning time. While I'm not a coffee drinker myself, I understand many people love their daily brew. To make your stay a bit more welcoming, I provide enough coffee for 1 cup per day per guest. If 1 cup just scratches the surface of your caffeine needs, please feel free to bring extra supplies to keep your coffee cravings fully satisfied. In the spirit of environmental conservation, I provide 1 roll of toilet paper per bathroom. I encourage you to use it sparingly, keeping sustainability in mind. However, if 1 roll doesn't quite cover your needs, you're more than welcome to bring any additional supplies you might require. Regarding temperature control, you won't have access to the thermostat. To keep energy use efficient and electricity bills in check, I've set a standard temperature of 70 degrees Fahrenheit in the colder months and 75 degrees during the warmer ones. If you find it a bit chilly, feel free to bundle up in some cozy clothes. On the flip side, if it feels too warm, lighter outfits like shorts might be the way to go. Also, just so you know, the windows will stay locked at all times to boost security and prevent any unwanted visitors. During your time at my property, you'll have access to my amazing jacuzzi, an ideal spot to unwind. Just be sure to stick to a few straightforward rules. While my Airbnb can accommodate up to 6 guests, please note the jacuzzi is only big enough for 4 at a time, so you might need to rotate. I keep the water temperature locked at a toasty 100 degrees. Before hopping in, everyone must shower and rinse their feet in the bucket provided. Keep food and drinks out of the jacuzzi, and please don't apply lotions before entering. If I find it necessary to drain and clean the jacuzzi after your departure, a $250 charge will apply. While I do respect your privacy, there's a camera overlooking the jacuzzi and patio area to ensure everyone follows the rules and that no unauthorized parties are thrown. And a gentle reminder, if you're planning any intimate moments or considering a skinny dip, remember that the camera is watching. Now, let's go over some key house rules. When you book, you'll have 24 hours to sign a lease agreement. This isn't just any paperwork. It's a legally binding document that covers everything I've mentioned and then some, but no worries, it's only 36 pages long. Additionally, you'll need to pay a $1,000 security deposit in cash since my setup doesn't handle credit cards. Don't worry, this deposit will be returned to you 72 hours after you check out, minus any deductions for rule breaking. If damages exceed $1,000, expect to settle the balance through Airbnb. And yes, you've agreed to this. The guest approval process here is quite straightforward. Within 24 hours of booking, you and any additional guests must provide official IDs, such as a driver's license or passport. Additionally, it would be helpful if you could provide the Airbnb IDs of any other guests. It just makes things easier for me. In the interest of full transparency, I want you to understand why I might decline some guests. I conduct a thorough background check that includes a review of your social media accounts and a search for any criminal records using the names, ages, and addresses you provide. If I discover a criminal record, observe questionable behavior on your social media, or find that any of the additional guests have negative reviews on Airbnb, I reserve the right to cancel your reservation without any penalties to myself. So please be mindful of who you bring along. The company you keep could be the deciding factor in whether or not I approve your booking. Check-in time is set between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m., and checkout is promptly at 8 a.m. Keep in mind that my electronic door lock becomes non-operational after 10 p.m. because that's when I go to bed, and I need to make sure through my security cameras that only approved guests are entering my Airbnb. When you arrive, please pause at the camera, state your name clearly, and maybe give a smile. Just make sure to take off any sunglasses or hats first. This helps me ensure everyone is exactly who they claim to be. Remember, only approved guests can enter my Airbnb. That means no family or friends. This rule also applies to solo travelers who might meet someone and consider bringing them back to my property for a night of passion. If that happens, please book a hotel room or head over to their place instead. I monitor the cameras closely to ensure that only authorized guests are staying at my Airbnb. Should you sneak someone in and I discover it later, just know that I have the right to call the police, have you removed from my property, and charge you a $250 fine. For your convenience, I've placed a box outside my Airbnb for your shoes, as my property is not shoe-friendly. This rule is actually a money saver for you. Consider this. The cleaning fee is only $450. However, if shoes make their way indoors, my cleaner will need to spend extra time scrubbing the floors, bumping the cleaning fee up to $600. I hope you appreciate my efforts to keep cleaning costs down. Nevertheless, if this rule is broken, I will be compelled to charge an additional $150 for the extra cleaning, plus another $150 for the rule violation itself. Just so, I am always monitoring the cameras, so I'll be aware if any shoes cross the threshold. Additionally, my Airbnb is a smoke-free zone. If you're a smoker, you might want to look for other accommodations. While I can't stop you from smoking on the street, I'd prefer not to have the smell cling to your clothes, hands, or hair when you return indoors. If my cleaner detects traces of smoke, and believe me, she will, as she has the nose of a bloodhound, or if you're caught on camera smoking near my property, be prepared for a $500 fine. Keep in mind that my cancellation policy is pretty stringent. If you cancel at least 30 days before your booking, you'll receive only a 50% refund. Cancel after that 30-day mark? That's a firm 0% back. I understand that life throws curveballs, family emergencies, medical issues, and the like. But please remember, this is my business, and cancellations just don't cut it here. However, there is a silver lining. You can opt to purchase insurance for an additional fee to safeguard your booking. Being a host isn't a walk in the park. It takes a lot to stay on top of events, fairs, concerts, and the like. So, if you book and I later find out a major event coincides with your stay, causing a price hike, you'll need to cover the extra cost. And just to be clear, if you don't agree with this and choose to cancel, remember the rule: no refunds. Checkout rules. Remember, checkout is promptly at 8 a.m., not 8:01 or, heaven forbid, 9 a.m. At 8:01, my cleaner will be ready to start tidying up. If you haven't vacated the Airbnb by then, I'll have to charge you $75 for every 30 minutes you're still there, and I might even call the police to help move things along if necessary. Please make sure all trash is thrown into the bins next to my Airbnb. If you forget, there's a $50 penalty. Also, the house should be left spotless, as if no one was ever there. If my cleaner finds any issues, expect to be charged for extra cleaning. Now let's talk about reviews. Anything less than a 5-star review is simply not on the table, and rest assured, we will contest any 4-star or lower ratings with Airbnb. In the past, some have knocked off a star claiming that downtown is too far, but let's be clear. My Airbnb is a mere 15-minute drive from downtown, without traffic. I don't control the traffic conditions, and on a bad day, it could take you up to an hour and a half. Please consider this when planning your trip. Given the clarity of my house rules, there's no justifiable reason for a rating under 5 stars. On the other hand, while I expect to maintain high standards, I can't promise you a perfect review score either. Break a rule, and you're looking at 4 stars. Break 2 or more? You could be seeing 3 stars or fewer. It's all about fairness, after all. If you find that my house rules don't align with your preferences, or you don't meet the booking requirements for my property, no worries at all. You always have the option to book a hotel at a potentially lower cost. There, you can enjoy all the freedom and privacy you need, plus the bonus of having a housekeeper included at no extra charge. Thanks again, and I look forward to hosting you soon. Sincerely, your Airbnb host.